Welcome to Paranormal Nightshift, your home for all things that go bump in the dark and your fan stories told here. Today's story comes from Katie and is titled, This Is Gonna Sound Crazy. Katie writes in, Hello. So this is gonna sound pretty crazy and I don't care. I can't talk to people about it because people who listen to the story would say that I was crazy. Only a few close family members know of what I'm about to tell you. So one night, I was sleeping with my boyfriend upstairs at my grandma's house. She was old, so me and my dad lived with her to take care of her. One night, my boyfriend and I were upstairs, and I woke up and I felt my blanket was falling off of me. So I sit up, like any girlfriend or wife would, thinking that he's just hogging all the blankets. I roll over and I see him. He's there, floating 2 feet in the air. He's there, floating 2 feet in the air with both of his hands just wide out. He's floating, sleeping, levitating over the bed. It took me a second to realize what I was seeing. There's no way this is possible. I start screaming his name. Mitch! Mitch, wake up! The blankets are still draped over him, but he's floating, and the louder I scream his name, the more he starts to move. He starts moving, levitating towards our window. Mitch, wake up! I am absolutely terrified. His whole body is floating, levitating in the sky, floating towards the window. As I'm screaming his name, he does not move. He's not waking up. It's like he can't hear me, like he's in some sort of deep sleep paralysis trance. As he's levitating, and the more I freak out and scream his name, he has no idea what is going on. He's floating towards the window, around the room. I'm blocking the window. Whatever has a hold of him, I'm not going to let it take my boyfriend. I don't know what it is, but he's floating, he's levitating, and I can't let him leave this room. I have to help him. I thought about running downstairs to try to get help, but what am I going to tell them? How do you wake up your grandma and go, hey, my boyfriend's levitating? All of a sudden, I was like frozen in time, and he just drops. He drops 2 feet from the bed, just landing on the bed. When he drops, it wakens him. He starts to wake up and doesn't quite understand what was happening, and he doesn't believe what I'm telling him. We go downstairs, and I know that I was screaming so loud. I expected my dad or my grandma or my sister, somebody to hear us. They all are such light sleepers. For me to be screaming bloody murder, you would think that somebody in the house would have woken up, but it was like the rest of the house was in a trance, like they didn't hear any of it. I couldn't sleep the rest of the night. I just sat there in bed trying to figure out what had happened. The next morning at breakfast, of course, Mitch wants to tell everybody that I had a nightmare and I woke him up. Everyone was picking on me, except for my grandmother. My grandmother said, I believe you. I've seen it too. It used to happen to your grandfather. I think it's aliens. I think that's how they take them. I told Mitch that my grandmother believed my story. She said that she had seen it happen. Of course, he laughed it off, that your grandmother is 97 years old and has dementia. Why would she know anything about aliens? Exactly, Mitch. Why would a 97-year-old woman know anything about aliens unless she had seen it? Maybe we shouldn't chalk so much up to old people just being old people, saying silly things. Maybe they've actually seen it. Her belief in me is what changed the way I think about things, especially the paranormal. Yes, she has dementia, but yes, she was 97 years old. How would a woman who goes to church all the time, who has always been so spiritually involved in her faith, know anything about aliens? That wouldn't even be a conversation she was willing to have. Why are we so easily to dismiss what they're saying? Maybe they are closer to it because they're closer to the end. Maybe that veil is just a little bit more thin. I don't understand why we're so easily ready to dismiss things that people say. I know what I saw. I know it sounds crazy, but at least my grandmother believes me.